Welcome back. So, has anybody ever had to get asked for money from a charity?
Of course.
You had that experience?
Absolutely.
It's crazy, right? I work with a charity that's really close to me. It's a company called Maker Girl. They help girls that do STEM class. They're 6 to 9 year olds, and they help them get into math, science, technology, engineering. Really trying to help the world for girls. I don't have a daughter who's old enough yet, but I brought my neighbors. And afterwards, CEO walked up and she's like, Dan, Marlo had such a good time. I'm like, yeah, 3-dimensional lizard. It was really cool. And she looked at me and I saw her shift. She goes, it's really great that we're able to impact the lives of these little girls. We're literally changing their lives. And it's going to create a ton of economic opportunity for them. I mean, future's female. And I laugh. She's like, you have a daughter, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, it's so cool that like right now we're doing things to raise money to continue to help girls like your daughter. In fact, we've got a charity event on Saturday where people have to run for as long as they can to collect pledges. I know you're a runner. Do you want to come on Saturday at like 1? It's your daughter's nap time, if I'm not mistaken. Can I count you in? Hooked, right? Hooked.
Yeah.
Lizzie had me. And I'm in this emotional state of thinking of my daughter. Everything was all in my head. What did you guys like about her pitch?
I didn't know she was pitching.
Didn't know she was pitching. Right.
Yeah, she was having a conversation with you. And she knew these important details of it. Like she was like really invested in specifically you.
Yeah, connected with me.
Right.
Well, in this section, we're in our final section of Own the Room today, and it's called Secured Commitments. We're going to pull together a bunch of the muscles that we've been learning all day long into one, plus add one more muscle. So I want you to turn to your workbooks, you got them in front of you, to the charity sell page. I want you to think of your favorite charity and write the name of that charity on the top of your page. I got 10 seconds. Okay, you were going to sell that charity. Now, I want you to think you're going to be selling this charity to your partner, and you're going to want to ask them for something. So maybe it's for money or volunteer time, to join your board, maybe give up drinking coffee once a week in order to save that money. Whatever that charity needs, you're going to have 60 seconds to pitch your partner on your charity, and you need to spend the last part of that pitch asking them a very specific, actionable commitment. All right? So I want you to take 2 minutes to start thinking about this. Your partners are going to be evaluating you. And they're going to evaluate you on 3 things. First, they're going to evaluate you on a strong, concise, and engaging opening. Just like Lizzie's. Then, we're going to see a powerful and emotional connection. And then finally, a bold, specific, and actionable ask. So I want you to take some time right now and start crafting your pitch for your charity using these 3 points. Okay? Go. Now, I can see we're getting towards the ask part. If you want to tip, it's kind of like the dating world. You would never want to end a date, now you guys may be a little outside the dating world, but if you were to think back, you would never want to end a date with, hey, we should do this again sometime. You want your ask to be a lot more specific. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. How about we go to a concert next Friday? Or, that was a lot of fun. Why don't we do Bloody Marys on Sunday at brunch? Make sure that there's an actionable request there. All right, maybe about 5 seconds. Is everybody done?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's stand up. We're gonna let the guys go first. So Matt, you're gonna pitch your charity to Sarah, and
Okay.
then Sarah, you're gonna give them feedback based on this criteria.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
So I think everybody knows somebody who has had to deal with cancer.
Mhm.
I mean, you really can't avoid it nowadays. We all have, unfortunately, had to, witness family, friends, and if you ask me, the saddest thing in the world is when children are afflicted with it. And so there's an organization, and I know that you have a daughter, a young daughter, and I think if you were to imagine, it's a horrible thing to imagine, but think about what that would be like if your daughter was afflicted with some form of pediatric cancer. And so there's actually an organization that helps people that are in that situation. And what they do is they have a camp where children are able to go, children with these cancers are able to go and just be children, and not be stuck in a hospital and that sort of thing. It's a really amazing organization, and the way that they raise money is actually through the Chicago Marathon. And so now I know you've done some running in the past. So
I could train for a marathon. You can be my coach.
Absolutely. In fact, I am the coach for the team, and I provide training advice to the people on the team. So I'd be more than happy to help you with that. But so really, what I was wondering is if you would actually have any interest in being a part of our Chicago Marathon team. So what you do is you run the marathon and you raise money for the organization, and each athlete who completes Chicago and raises the requisite amount of money sends one child to camp.
Awesome.
It's amazing, and it's a charity where there isn't any, there are no overhead expenses or anything like that. It's direct application. So and let me tell you, raising the money is so easy, because what I just told you, you're thinking about your daughter being in this situation, and trust me, it sells itself.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Let's clap. We clap for that. These role plays are hard. Sarah, what did you like that he did?
Well, he has a personal connection to the organization,
Yeah.
which makes it far easier to say yes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rather than just saying, "Hey, I like this organization."
Yeah. Filters are down.
It's actually something that he's a part of
Right.
that helps give that emotional connection.
Great.
Yeah.
What do you think? Something Matt could work on?
Give the organization name earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's really good feedback.
I didn't even think of that.
I would agree with you. There's a chunky part in the middle where you were really engaging around like, I'm a marathoner and I'm a coach and now like helping pediatric kids in this organization. Maybe pulling that forward. Overall, making it a little bit more concise. But I think that's really good feedback.
It took me a while to figure out where he was going. Like I was thinking St. Jude for a while.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Or like of that nature,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, come in with that strong and concise, engaged opening.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
It's helpful.
let's flip it.
Okay.
Sarah.
So you have a daughter. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
Right?
recently.
I know, and you get to be a
Yeah.
dad to a daughter, and I think in this day and age, just helping women feel confident in their voice and not underheard is very important to me. Africa has a very special place in my heart. I did a lot of mission trips there through my youth and my 20s. My husband and I lived there, and so in working with underdeveloped countries and helping bring that ability for women to have that voice is very powerful to me. So there's an organization called World Bicycle Relief, and their goal is to provide girls of all ages bikes so they can get to school, transportation.
Right.
And so like that's the hardship for girls in Africa is transportation. They have schools available to them, but they could be miles away.
I
And just
think I ever thought about that.
and so they need the ability to get to school. And so World Bicycle Relief brings bikes to them. And so one of the ways that they raise money is by a 100-mile bike ride. And it starts here in Chicago.
Nice.
You bike up to Wisconsin and you come back and you end down Wrigley Field.
Okay.
And so I know you're an athlete, you like to run, you like to bike, swim, all that fun stuff.
I do.
You've done multiple rides with my husband, and so I'd like to campaign you to join this 100-mile bike ride to raise money, and you and Dan can go bike, and I'll see you guys at the end.
Okay. No, that sounds awesome. That's I do like to ride, so I mean it sounds like an amazing organization.
Yeah.
So
Great. Thank you. Nice work, Sarah. Awesome. Matt, what did you like about Sarah's pitch?
well, actually, she was very upfront about the organization, which is part of her critique of mine, which was right on.
Yeah.
So having that up front, I was like, okay, I know exactly what the organization is, I know what they do, why it's important. Like, she laid that out, it was very concise up front. Then she connected with me. I do have a daughter as of like 10 days ago, which, so I'm especially vulnerable to that right now. So that was great. And then for sure, I mean, she picked, it's an activity that she knows I'm interested in. It's something that I do anyway. And so she's saying, okay, this is one of the ways that they probably have like a fancy gala or something too, right?
Yeah.
That's not so much me, but going for a ride to raise money, that's more me. So connecting it specifically to me was, I think, really helpful.
What's one thing that I think that you're all right. What's one thing that you think that she should work on?
Maybe like asking some questions of me to sort of like draw me in a little more.
Got it.
I can't think of specifically what questions necessarily, but maybe just something to sort of like, instead of just telling me, maybe ask some things of me.
Do you think, like, as he gives you the feedback, is there
Totally,
something?
because rather than saying, I know you like to ride, right, I could have said, hey, do you like to ride?
Or
Right.
or something
Like,
along those
little
lines, like,
lines of, like,
hey,
just-
would you be, have you ever thought about doing a century or
Right,
something like
you know,
that,
like-
right? And then
Yeah,
So
like
it pulls him in.
Yeah, like saying,
Okay.
hey, I know you've done a 50-mile, would you be interested in a 100-mile or something?
right, and
Yes.
then say, because there's an organization.
Exactly,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
You guys can take your seats. Thank you for going through that. That was really good. I'd like you to both think about the asks that you made.
Mhm.
Do you believe that they were bold, specific, and actionable?
I think so.
I think so.
I mean, asking somebody to run a marathon or ride 100 miles
Yeah, I
is
think
fairly
it's
bold. It's also specific, and it's an action, right? I mean, it's.
Did you guys have timelines on when you needed the asks to be done by? Yeah. And I think that might be something that you're going to want to incorporate in both of your asks. Not just run a marathon, but start training tomorrow. Or
I will say, because that gave me a lot of anxiety. Like, I've never run a marathon,
yeah.
right? Like, so like, if I didn't know when the Chicago Marathon took place,
Sure.
I would have been like, oh, what the,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
And I think that's something that both of those asks make them time bound. It really pulls people in and it locks that next step.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
also, like, because ours also were physical activities too, just training required.
Yeah.
A timeline would have been helpful, like,
Would you
I
like
can
to
see
run
the
a
value
marathon
of that.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because if you want somebody to actually participate in something like that,
Yep.
you need to give them the time frame so that they understand what they're signing up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for going through that. Now, you've developed your pitches, you've seen some really great feedback, and I want to challenge you. Do you really believe that your pitches are worthy? If you do, I challenge you to send them to the organization that you pitched for. Now,
Like,
not every pitch is perfect, but what you can do is offer that pitch to the people that need it. If you believe the information that you wrote down in the pitch that you created could help them achieve their goals, even just a little, I ask you to record ourselves doing these pitches and send them to the organizations that you want to help. When we've learned new skills and been able to acquire knowledge, it's our responsibility to share those skills and knowledge with the world.
Fair.
End scene.